This video illustrates the use of two programs to produce the 3D design and full-size templates to build my accent chair. Hi, Jim Vanderskiff, Down East Wood Art, and welcome to my shop. I just want to go over briefly this chair. It's named in Dutch, accent stoel met singleband, and that means nothing more than it's an accent chair and it's got webbing that is in the back and the seat bottom. So I designed the chair, and now you can see that we've made the chair. And so I just want to point out some of the things about it. The seats were made with the webbing, and you can see how that weaving is put together. I did another little segment which I'll show you on how I put all these together. But anyway, there's a lot of tacks that have to go into it, and you just weave it back and forth and tighten it. And this is one of the little tacks. You buy a bunch of those, and this is the webbing itself that I got from England. It's linen. The reason I got that is because it was a really nice colored material, and it wasn't like ordinary webbing, which has stripes of color in it. So both the seats and the back are made that way. The rest of the chair is made from cherry, and I used dowels, these little dowels right in here, because you need sufficient strength. There wasn't enough room to do a floating tenon. I could have done a through tenon, but that would have been a little bit more involved. I used these, and they're also over here. So there's a board that goes all the way through, and that's the major support for the seat. The supports for the back, I'm still in progress of doing, and what I'll do is I'll put a screw through here into the back, and I'll run maybe a couple of screws through here and into the back on both sides. The little pieces of wood here were due to the fact that there's an overlap of this armchair side, and that overlaps this piece. You can see it here just because that's a good design, and then it sweeps back, and so you need to make up those little pieces because these are 20 inches square. So this joint is a floating tenon. It's approximately 2¼ inches long, and it goes in this joint, which makes it extremely strong. This one as well. So it's well built, and I'll start finishing it off as soon as I got the back in place. One of the things you do with these little dowels once you put them in place is they stick out, of course, and then you just use a Japanese saw like this. They're pull saws rather than push saws, and you just knock down the little piece that sticks up, and that's pretty straightforward, and then just sand them. So that's the chair, and what we've got over here is something truly unique, and I'm going to show you on a computer inside how I generate this. Anyway, I generated the design with Sketch Up. It's a Google program, and there's a free version of it, and I can show you how I used it. But anyway, what I do with another program that was written by Matthias Wangdell of woodgears.ca is you basically scan this in or create a JPEG, input it into his program, specify a dimension, and then that expands. That's 30 inches leg to leg. That expands this entire picture into templates that are full size. Now that's just incredible, because you can imagine the dimensions that you'd have to take to try to get this right. Well, if you've got templates, you've got two things. You've got the actual pieces themselves, plus you've got just how they all go together, which is crucial for a design like this because there's nothing but curves and things in it. So you make 2 sets of these. This expands to, one of these is a page, meaning an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And then in one set, I cut off like the back. I cut off this piece. I cut out this piece here. It fits there. I cut out the leg. Let's see, this is the one in front. So I cut out a leg in front. Then I cut out back leg. And it shows, just with these templates, exactly how I can cut things out. Then I run them through my table saw and then use the band saw to cut the curves. So it's an incredible capability, and I'll show you the details of it, and I'll give you some links if you wish to acquire that kind of capability. I find it very useful. So I said before I would show you the chair that I designed. I used Sketch Up, and this is the chair, a couple of versions of it in Sketch Up. As you can see, it's a true 3D modeling tool. You can rotate, you can look at the model in any particular way. That's really a nice feature, and I designed it in SketchUp from just a sketch that I started with. But I don't plan to go into a lot of detail about SketchUp here, other than just to show you how I got the patterns and used the tool to produce the layouts. So I'll go to another version I have, which is just this side view, and that's this particular view. This is, I'll show you the difference between the various projections that we have here and what you need to use if you're going to do something like this. Again, this is only the parts of the chair that I want to create patterns for and make the layout allowances with. So as you can see, what I've done is move these 2 members of the chair here, the front members, this one right in this area, and then the one back here, I've stretched them, moved them in and out. You can do that with SketchUp. It's quite an easy thing to do. Just select a particular component and then move it. And you select that component and then you can move it in and out. And I moved it out just so that would allow me to show. I'm sorry, I just screwed it up here. I'll undo that move. And now stop it. So I just wanted to show where these 2 cross members were, both here and here, so that I can figure that out on layout. Now, what you're looking at, just to give you a feel for it, is I'll put the axis on the pictures so you can see them. And they're an axis this way, and this way. It's just normal 3-dimensional axes. And if you produced the patterns from that, you would be looking at the patterns with a perspective view. You really don't want a perspective view, so the software allows you to do what's called a parallel projection, which is this way, and then it allows you to look just at some standard views like front. And that's the view that I want, because I just want it in flat plane so that I can take these patterns and scale them up. All right, so we're not going to go into any more details with SketchUp. This view shows everything I want. I'll go to the next program. Well, while I'm here, I might as well show you that you can download a copy of SketchUp for free, and this is the link. If you just do a Google search for free SketchUp, you'll find this page, and there's a point right here where you can get the 2017 version, and it's quite useful for all kinds of 3D modeling, especially furniture. So what we're going to do now is go to another program which is called BigPrint. BigPrint was created by Matthias Wangdahl from woodgears.ca meaning Canada. And he had the same problem that we're talking about here, doing the patterns and templates and doing layout. So I've used this program, and you can obtain it, I think it's like 20 or 20 bucks from that location, woodgears.ca/BigPrint/. Okay, so I'll go and open my version of it, open a file, and the file I'm opening is a JPEG file that's right here. That's just a copy of what you saw on the screen before. And it may not be that clear because I've saved ink by cutting down some of the colors on here. There's a feature in the program that allows you to do that. So when you print it, you don't use up all the color in your print cartridges. I'll just go back to normal colors and you can see what I'm talking about. All right, so we used Ink Saver for that. I'll just leave it on so that you can see it. Now what we do is we're going to calibrate this image by a scale. And the thing it tells me to do is to set the first point, which is right here. That's on the leg right here. And then set another point, which is over here. And then indicate that distance. Well, I happen to know that that's 30 inches in real dimensions. So I just type in 30. And voila. Now, what you're looking at here, this is marvelous, absolutely genius. There are, each one of these rectangles is a piece of paper, is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. They're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 20 sheets of paper. This is the actual size if you were to glue all those pieces of paper together like you saw me do before in the shop. So what you do is you print all those out, or you print the non-blank ones out, and then simply glue them together. Now the way you glue them together is marvelous as well, because Maddie has figured that out. Anytime you're at a location like this, you probably can't see it too clearly on the video, but there are green lines on diagonals both ways. Well, when you line up a sheet of paper, you just match those green lines, and that makes everything fit all together. So what do you end up with? Well, this is critical because you can print 2 sets of these pictures, 2 sets of paper. One you can use for the template, so you just cut out the pieces of paper that are joined together and you get a template for this arm, for the leg, for the stretcher. The other thing you can do is print out another set and just glue them all together, and now you got the layout. So you got layout and templates. That's marvelous. Anyway, just wanted to show you that. I find this extremely useful in my work, and I hope that you do as well. At some point in the future, I'll go through a tutorial on SketchUp so you can get a feel for just how I designed this chair. But for now, that's what I wanted to cover. So thanks, and see you in the next video.